Can this update change Mercedes' future? Mercedes had a very problematic start to the F1 season, and the team has been looking forward to some updates. Therefore, one particular change that they've implemented in Barcelona may change the performance of the car. So, can this update change Mercedes' future? And if so, do they have a shot at the title, considering the fact that Ferrari and Red Bull are still driving in their own worlds? Stick with us until the very end of this video, as we'll explain the update that could bring back Mercedes drivers on the podium sooner rather than later. The Silver Arrows couldn't understand how porpoising works on their car, which caused them significant lap time in the first 5 races. If you look at Russell's performance, you'd probably think that we have no idea what we're talking about. However, Hamilton's performance is closer to what Mercedes is experiencing this year. The Brit hasn't been able to pass Q1 in Saudi Arabia, and he finished P14 in Imola behind Gasly. Rumors have started rising about his possible retirement from the sport, as he said on multiple occasions that he doesn't feel like he has a legitimate shot at the championship. However, his teammate Russell has been able to finish in the top 5 in every race so far, so you'd think that Mercedes' problem isn't revolving around the car. But after what happened at Barcelona, the narrative of a possible debacle for Mercedes has changed swiftly. Their car seemed very superior, as Hamilton was able to pass the Ferrari of Sainz for P4 without the Ferrari experiencing problems in their pace. The Mercedes was just quicker, but Hamilton had to give the place back because of a possible issue that would leave him out of the race in the final 2 laps. What's even more impressive is the fact that Hamilton was able to climb to this place from P19 after suffering a puncture on his left tire. The puncture happened after the collision with Magnussen, as the Dane failed to keep up with the pack. Hamilton told his engineer that if it was up to him, he'd save the engine after the pit stop. The engineer said that the team still believes he could reach P8 by the end of the race, or maybe higher. This has aged like a fine wine, as Britt made the most overtakes in the track. Apart from this, Toto Wolff said that after what he saw in Barcelona, he's 100% sure that this is a championship caliber car. This has renewed the hopes in Mercedes for a comeback season, as the team has changed things around with a huge package of upgrades in their car. As we all know, Mercedes was struggling very much with the porpoising problem, and the upgrade package was almost aimed at this problem. Other than that, the car was acting like a rattlesnake, according to Hamilton. On many occasions, he said that the car feels wild and needs some more taming. So, which update boosted the performance of Mercedes the most? First, we must say that it's very important that Mercedes brought some updates to Barcelona. If their car lacked the pace and performance yet again, the season could be as good as over for them. It's not easy to come back after what they've gone through with their car, as Russell even complained of a much more present stiffness in his neck due to the porpoising. One update that has reduced the porpoising was the edge of the floor. The change in the shape has allowed the car to bounce less on the straight. The lack of air pods has exposed the floor to too much airflow from above. This has pushed the floor too much to the ground, causing the car to porpoise. Apart from changing the edge of the floor, the Mercedes did some minor changes revolving around the aerodynamic concept of the car. The Silver Arrows have also reduced the weight of their car, and it's crucial for them to be close to the minimal weight. This has allowed them to boost the performance of their car, as the main way that they did was by removing some paint off the car. One update that has happened but isn't around the body of the car is the engines being switched on. One team could use 3 engines per season, and every next usage of a new engine results in a grid penalty. The control systems of the engines have suffered changes, and combined with the earlier mentioned upgrades, their car was simply running like butter. Just how close were the Brits compared to the pole sitter, Leclerc? Well, George was 0.643 seconds behind, and Hamilton was an additional 0.110 seconds behind George, so both of them were less than a second slower. This is a huge upgrade, considering the fact that Mercedes was slower by more than a second in the first races. The impressive climb from Hamilton has also been a huge indicator of Mercedes' performance. True, most of the cars he passed belonged to the midfield or below, but the Brit has been able to pass Sainz too. And apart from that, we remember that he couldn't even pass Gasly in Imola, and has been fighting with Magnussen in his HAAS in Jeddah. So all in all, there's a huge boost in his performance and the car's behavior on track. One thing though that Mercedes fans won't like is that this engine is very damaged now. Tuning it up to the maximum means that the performance of the engine will be at the maximum, but its endurance and stamina are on the minimum level. This will probably force the team to change engines sooner rather than later, as Hamilton struggled yet again in Monaco. However, the state between drivers and Mercedes may be an interesting topic in the garage. Russell's still on streak of finishing inside the top 5, while Hamilton has finished P9 in Monaco, not being able to pass Ocon for P8. True, it's Monaco, and passing here is difficult, but Mercedes has strategists that other teams would kill to have. If they did have an undercut like Red Bull, Hamilton would easily climb for positions and secure some very important points for the team. Finishing as he did only added to the narrative that Mercedes may soon switch their focus on George as their new number 1. That is, if they don't already proclaim him as their number 1 choice. So it seems like the team introducing upgrades to the aerodynamic flow and engine setups would do the trick for Mercedes. However, Hamilton hasn't been able to perform on that level that George did, which is something that could be a huge psychological factor for the Brit. If you're a 7-time world champion and you have a young and competitive teammate who's constantly outperforming you, there's a chance for you to look outside of the F1 world. Rumors about him leaving F1 have become a real possibility before Barcelona GP, and after the updates, it seems like these rumors would remain, well, just rumors. However, his performance in Monaco has revived these talks, and there isn't any certainty revolving around his stay in Mercedes. Fans were going as far as connecting him to other F1 teams that were still able to secure him a winning car. It seems like Mercedes is still working on it, but when you have teams that already possess a championship car, it's hard to keep up. If it is to judge after Wolff's comments, then the Silver Arrows are in it for the long run. After the Barcelona GP, Wolff said that Hamilton was the best driver on the grid, and thanks to the new updates, the car is now capable of winning the championship. On the other note, Wolff also said that Hamilton was probably faster than Verstappen throughout the race, but that's hard to be understood as a true statement. Why? Because Verstappen and Hamilton were on a different setup, and Hamilton was chasing drivers most of the race. On the other hand, Verstappen was just cruising after passing George and Perez, so all he had to do was finish the race in a safe manner. The updates that they brought to the Barcelona seem to have brought them back in the championship run. However, Monaco showed that there's still much work to do, as so far we've witnessed that Mercedes is having some serious problems regarding city tracks and their layout. Do you think the current upgrades would be enough for them to win the driver or constructors title this season? Let us know in the comment section down below. Until then, take care and drive safely.